And welcome back, weirdos! This is episode 8 of the Weird Austin podcast, and we're glad to have you back. We have two wonderful musicians, comedians, gentlemen in front of me. And if you guys want to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Gentlemen? That's a music joke.
Okay.
Because he goes, gentlemen. I did not make that up.
Like in Terminator Salvation.
And
I did not make that up.
And on the keyboards we have... Sir?
It's because I unplugged my mixer. I was going to try and add sound effects to this, but hey, what's up, y'all? This is Mario Ramirez sitting down joining with y'all at the 9:20 on Tuesday? Nah, it's a Wednesday. Juneteenth, baby. Happy Juneteenth.
Alright. Loving it. Well, what do you guys feel like talking about today?
I'm loving it. Imagine if I played that wrong.
Ooh.
Trying to be a smart ass and be like... And people are like, I hate this podcast. The dude didn't even play it right.
Demonetization. Wow.
Woo!
There we go.
That was the crowd outside the window waiting to hear this podcast live. But the window's closed because this is only for listeners.
Definitely.
Now go ahead and hit us up at and we'll answer all your calls standardized today.
Just call that number on your screen. That's 1-800-FAT-DICKS.
Oh my goodness.
That was a package from them.
Special delivery.
Anyway, today's episode is hosted at 4404 East Oldsworth, Austin, Texas, 78741. Send gifts.
Send gifts.
GIFs.
All packages will be unboxed live.
Alright, it took me a second, but I finally got that keyboard going.
There we go. So, Mr. Mario, when were you born?
In the year 1996, in El Paso, Texas.
Mr. Jayson?
That is a secret.
Alright. Can we get a month?
August. I'm a Leo. Not that I subscribe to that.
Where were y'all born?
I already answered that question. I was from my mother.
Yes.
Actually, fun fact, my mother's birthday was 6/6/1966. Please don't steal my identity.
I was born in Harlingen, Texas, which is in the Rio Grande Valley, Cameron County.
Cameron County.
But I grew up on South Padre Island.
Really? What's the view like at both places?
Harlingen versus South Padre? Harlingen is just a town, but they have a mall. We didn't have a mall, but we had the beach and all that comes with it, so it's a little bit better. But when I was a teenager, it was like, I didn't care about the beach, I want to go to the mall. And in retrospect, it's like,
Right.
the fuck was I thinking? Is this a rated PG-13 podcast, sir?
Come on, man. Go ahead.
Oh, is there no filter? That's all you have to say, baby. Alright.
Welcome back.
He's alive. The full moon came out and the werewolf's about to burst out.
Ow.
Apologies, we had some technical difficulties there. We are back.
Back up at bat.
And back up a bit.
Speaking of bats, Austin, keep it weird. Check out those bats under the bridge on Congress. I've never actually been, but it smells really bad. I hear it's fun.
It is. Especially when you're under there with them.
So, how long would you say your hair is, bro?
3-4 feet? Something like that.
Oh,
I've never measured it. I'm just letting it go.
You said 20 years? 10 years?
Yeah, coming up on 20, as long as I've lived here.
Wow. That's
I
crazy.
shaved my head when I moved here. Horrible mistake.
Alright, so you moved to California, you shaved your head again, but you keep your hair as like a just artificial wig that you can throw in when you start losing your hair.
Like a backup.
Yeah, it's a backup.
The standby that just slips on.
Let's face it, like
Like a-
in the next few years,
Like
you
a
get something
raccoon
like
skin
that.
cap
Yeah.
deal where I just like
Okay.
slide it over my head.
You go and get some like white hairs or some shit, and then you want to interchange between the days. That'd be great.
Hell yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool wig. You'd have enough for like multiple haircuts.
There'll probably be some freaks out in LA or something at some point that are going to be like, I just don't like having to wait. And then they're going to come up with some sort of cosmetic way to like interchange your scalp. And you just put on different hair and it all merges with the skin or something crazy like that.
Like a suture. Yeah,
Like a permanent fixture just like, sucks on, maybe has magnetic shit in it or something.
Fucking get stopped at TSA securities.
So when I was younger, man, I was like all about the supernatural, like X-Files and just ghosts and aliens and stuff. Do y'all believe in any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, but see, I think ghosts have the most validity. Aliens for sure, but I mean, by the time we come across an alien, we'll have hit plenty of ghosts. But what else is supernatural? In and of itself, man, is like a misunderstood phenomenons of the paranormal that science can't explain. Not just science, but like religion and history and English, bro. It's just retailing out information through the generations for stories to become legends and legends to be myths, bro. To explain the phenomenon through the ages.
Well, I don't usually label myself, but I'm not real big on anything that has to do with supernatural or spiritual stuff per se, because I'm a real kind of matter-of-fact person in a lot of ways, but I'm also pretty open to extraterrestrials and that sort of thing, because it's the probability and I don't know, it seems like there's enough credible, viable pieces of evidence out there where it's like okay, I went to the Houston's what's it called, Museum of Natural History, and they had the stuff maybe the third floor, it's like the mummies and all that stuff, but Aztec, Mayan stuff, whatever. And they're like, they're like, yeah, I noticed this. And the dude has the little headset, and they like highlight that part that's like the little Bluetooth headset deal, and like machines. And I'm just like,
oh, and like
come on,
hieroglyphics and shit, or what?
Yeah, and just in their stone carvings and what have you.
Oh, okay. Is that a thing?
Hard to deny. I don't know. It's
Well, I went to San Diego Museum of Human History or History Age of Man or something like that. There was an exhibit on cannibalism. No, I'll tell you what, man. Like, if it came down to it, you were in that plane that crashed in the mountains, and you had to like eat each other. 'Cause, like, that's wild, dude. Who the fuck would do that? But then the whole exhibit was just like pirate ships or whatever gets like sunken, and then they have to like kill some of the crewmates and then eat them, and then by then like they get rescued, and it's like, what the fuck? There's like whole tribes and shit and like island nations, but part of it was like racism, which I guess was a big part of the museum too. I saw plenty of cool exhibits and photo taking opportunities, but you know what I did? I set up a video camera on the floor and just played hacky sack for like 5-10 minutes straight, and I'm gonna time lapse that shit. Follow me on Instagram and SoundCloud at Ducky's on Quack. Hi_I'm_Mario. Also spelled hi on Mario, like high on elevation. Anyway.
speaking of that, you've lived here a while.
My whole life minus my service.
Well, I don't know if you would have been here for. Well, you probably were still here about this. This was in 2001 at Dobie Mall. They had this event set up by, I want to say it was called manbeef.com, and they claimed that you could buy human steaks. And they had a whole thing set up, and it was on the internet. This is like pre-MySpace, pre-all that shit, social media. And I heard about it through the Chronicle or something. I was like, what? And they're going to play horror movies. If the internet has any kind of credibility to at least archive these things, maybe on Wayback Machine or something, it might be one of those things that just fell through the cracks.
Archives.org, dude.
But yeah, they were like, yeah, it's like, $200 or something, but they would tell you what the cut was going to be, and they're like, oh yeah, these people are volunteers, or they're going to be executed or something.
That's crazy. So like actual human like flesh and shit just being sold and cooked.
And they had this is the best part. They had instructions about if there's anything left, bones, cartilage, anything, you have to put it in this stamped envelope that's a certain kind of seal that's squeeze all the air out so it doesn't have a smell. But they're like, do not throw any remains in the trash.
Wow.
And I wanted to go to that event, and I didn't go to it. And I always wondered, like, was that for real? And nobody remembers it, and it drives me crazy. But my brother remembers it, but I think we were hungover, and we're just like, nah, that doesn't sound so great after all. That might make me puke.
That's wild.
This was August or September of 2001. I just got back from Hawaii, and I had just graduated. Something in my life. Damn, I almost busted myself.
Kinder. You graduated Kinder.
Yeah.
Close.
Alright.
And I was just open. I was like, yeah, I was just fucking unchained, man. I went and got a bunch of piercings, started just going fucking wild.
Right.
Chain. Damn, homie.
Jayson Unchained.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. What other awesome older Austin stories do you have? I mean, 20 years.
Man. Well, see, when I first moved here, and you and I are not that far apart in age, so you probably still remember Einstein's and a lot of the drag shit.
Yeah.
So even before I lived here, my aunt lived here. I had two aunts that lived here, and I would visit and whatever, and I would just kind of be like unleashed. Yeah, here, just go check it out for a little while. I'll pick you up later. I'm like, sweet. And then I moved here, and I was doing the same shit. But yeah, I'd go down to the drag, and there'd be
by the drag you mean Guadalupe?
Sí, es Guadalupe. Más sabor.
Más sabor.
Es muy sucio.
Saludos y tal mundo. Estamos aquí en la calle de.
Yeah, but what's that place called, dude? Sound Exchange. There's a CD store. It's like CD warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd have bands play there. Like, I mean, it didn't matter if they were shitty or whatever, but they'd be like punk bands, just be playing their store. Loud as hell.
Like buying CDs and shit.
Tower Records was still open.
Okay.
And that place was 2 stories. I don't know if you checked it out much.
Oh, cool.
They sold magazines. They sold probably dirty magazines. They sold a lot of weird stuff, but they had mostly CDs, magazines, books, collectibles, like Todd McFarlane, weird Spawn shit and all that. So it was just badass, dude.
Where was that?
Tower Records, that tall building that's just been abandoned.
Huh.
It's all like kind of grandiose, 50s looking.
Yeah.
God dang.
It was cool, dude. Like I got my septum pierced right there on Atomic. I don't even think Atomic's there anymore.
No, there's an Atomic down the street here too.
Yeah.
But this was like an old one, like probably the first one. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
is it the one right out 535?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's such a weird location. I always think like, who's coming into Austin? Right, you're about to get to Austin, coming south, wherever.
Is it Atomic?
Whatever that one is.
It's got bluish. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who's like, I need to pull off and get a tattoo right now. This is the perfect time. I mean, that's iconic area to be, and it's always been there, as long as Riverside, as long as I've been here. But like, I just wonder how they stay there. Like, who's pulling off to go there? Like, is it word of mouth?
It's like
really probably reputation.
It's gotta be. Yeah,
it's
they gotta
be super really nice
wonderful
sign as you're driving by. How can you resist?
True,
dude. I got this tattoo at Atomic, which is
wow.
Hokusai's The Great Wave off Kanagawa.
Yeah,
I just got the line art though.
You want to tell people how big the size is?
Like this big.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say about
that shit, bro.
Maybe a foot and a half.
Anyway, if you don't know it, Hokusai is a Japanese woodblock wizard,
wide.
And one of his most famous pieces of art, I guarantee you've seen it. It's called The Great Wave of Kanagawa, and it's a giant wave. It just shows that you gotta be water, bro, because water can flow, water can crash. Be water, my friend. But yeah, man, the fluidity and everything in the earth just shows that you gotta like be able to instantly liquefy, bro. But if you were to ask me, and I was the Avatar, I would stick to airbending because that shit's dope. IDK about y'all, but airbending sounds the coolest. I mean, waterbending sounds super chill, firebending super intimidating, and then earthbending is super dope. But me, I'd settle for a little bit of airbending. I can ride the little like bicycle wheel.
Yeah.
The fucking Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't know, what about y'all?
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
If you had the bendability,
I'm working on that.
yeah. Good shit.
I just don't want to be like some dude that's like, oh, my back, and like trying to like pick up something. And I'm like, oh fuck. It's like, I was like,
crack.
no, being flexible.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many yoga studios in Austin, or even just people at the park. Just set up a little mat or something. I don't know. I wouldn't pay for it if YouTube has it for free. I would say the same about my education too, but I owe that school a lot of money.
And what school is that?
I understand.
What school is that? And what'd you
Bro,
do?
the whole reason I'm in Austin, bro, I am at the capital THE University of Texas at Austin. It's cool. It's fun. 40 acres. I came in running the apex of the digital age.
And you have your degree?
Hell yeah, radio, television, and film, Bachelor of Science.
Nice.
Pop in, finished in 4 years, only owe like 5 digits of debt.
Yeah, me too.
And what's your degree in?
Let's see. It's basically a performance degree in jazz studies, principal instrument guitar. It doesn't say that exactly on the diploma,
Right.
but that's kind of how the degree plan is. So it's a performance degree in jazz
Right.
on the guitar. But
yeah.
that being said, I mean,
That's awesome.
it's not like I was only in classes with guitarists. There's
Right.
mostly other musicians. Guitar is not so important in jazz. I hate to say it, but doesn't mean it's not fun. It's actually great. Being in, like I got a big band when you're just like or whatever,
Nice.
you know, you're just keeping time, and then nobody's like telling you what to play. So I could have been like, or whatever.
Nice.
You can just play whatever register you want, play some weird chords,
That's just jazz for you.
you know, like. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, duh, I'm playing the wrong key now. I switched to E flat for some reason.
What key are you playing in?
I started playing in a different key entirely. But yeah, you can get kind of spooky with it, which is dope.
Hell yeah.
What chords were those?
Mad spooky, yo.
So it'd be,
The spooky ones.
I'm not thinking correctly, but basically B flat major, or. But I chose to play it over here because it's actually a G minor 9 chord, but they're basically the same thing because you're getting your B flat, your D, your F.
Get that D.
B flat, D, F, and oh, sorry, A. So you're playing it out of order than just your typical. That's just straight up and down.
Right.
1, 5, 7, 3.
1573 is what you said.
A drop 2.
See, I first started playing guitar in middle school and then fell off for a few years. But I know some riffs by heart. I couldn't tell you what the notes are with my fingers. It's like riding a bicycle, you know?
Hey, but did it hurt when you fell off?
Yo, girl.
Let me tell you a story.
Did it hurt, girl? When you fell from heaven? Shit. Shoo. Ha. Come on, girl. Ha. Shoo. remember hearing
You
people
guys
doing
love this
that.
copyrighted music. I mean, I know you're playing it, but that's a line I don't know if I
Should
can try.
I? I'll take alternations.
No, hey, we'll find out. We'll find out. Hey, in the future, if this audio is completely blocked out, you'll never hear it. But if you do,
I'm disguising his chords.
hooray for
Similar
freedom of
shit.
speech. And fair use and such of renditions. I don't know. Okay, so...
It's actually a fun game. I'm trying to block what he's playing with similar chords, but not in the same chord sequence.
It was good. It was a good tempo.
So do you guys like those movies and shows and episodes of shows where like the guy has a really crappy day at school? You know?
Not allowed to play that!
Because I was gonna ask, what was one of the worst days you guys ever had at school?
One of the worst days at school?
Yeah. Since we've worked together, but what was school life like? What was that terrible? Just
that's a tough one, man.
Really?
I mean, I have some that are like maybe too much. They wouldn't even be like.
So the issue
They're not
is I'm
uplifting in any kind of way.
things
Like,
are great. You're like, oh man.
well, like finding out somebody killed themselves or something like that. Like,
Oh man.
you don't want to be like, that was the worst day at school, and that girl, so and so, and those kinds of things.
Jeez.
How about a funny, like something shitty that happened to you at school sometime in your life? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it was young or in college or anywhere in between.
Oh, dude.
Starting school and finishing school forever unless you do your master's. But you know what I mean? Because one of my worst ones was actually in college not that long ago, and it could have been horrible, but it wasn't. So there's like a silver lining, and I kind of popped up out of it. And in any other circumstance, it would have been horrible, embarrassing. I would have had to like quit and leave. It was so bad. But the way everyone reacted and the way I reacted, it just kind of canceled out and nullified itself, if you will.
Right.
And then it just kind of like became forgotten. It was so weird, dude, because if any other person, like if I was seeing it happen to somebody else, I would have been losing my shit. I would have been like laughing and be like, oh my God, and then telling everybody I knew, like my head would have exploded. You're probably wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Right.
Much
Okay.
hype. Do tell.
It's not going to be like, I farted, and then I got sad and cried. No.
Too long, didn't read.
It was not that. I was at Texas State, and I was in a science class, and there was like 100-something people in this damn class.
In like a corridor?
It was in like a
lecture hall.
It was a lecture hall where it had risers, so different tiers, right? Well, each
Like
tier
society.
had a desk. You know, like the desk where it's all like one piece, and you just kind of wedge
Have you
in.
ever seen that anime? Go on. Sorry.
Okay, so I had those, right? Those aren't bolted to the ground. They move freely. Well, there's these tiers that are like giant fucking staircase steps.
Right.
I'm wearing these like fucking ripped up ass camos that I always used to wear and shit, and my like whatever shitty low top shoes, and I used to wear my pants where I would, the back of my heel would wear out the material really bad and it'd make like a little hoop. You've seen pants do that. These are old school, dude. These are like fucking Jinkos or something. They're all big and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm walking down the thing and I'm carrying my stuff, or I'm doing something, or the teacher's like, hey, come down here and do your presentation or some shit. I'm like, oh, okay, dirt. And I kind of get tangled up, and my shoe goes through that hole, and it kind of trips me up. And so it made me, when I stepped on the pant leg, it ripped at the knee and it pulled down on my leg, so it made my leg bend and then not be able to bend out again.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I kind of started falling and I grabbed a desk. Well, grabbing the desks don't matter when they're not attached to the fucking ground.
Right.
And I was at the top, and I did that, and I fell, and I took the desk with me, tumbled into more desks, and then it was like a snowball, like.
Oh no!
And when I was at the bottom, very bottom, in front of the teacher, I was in this tangled mess of metal, and my body is contorted, and all I heard were gasps. Nobody was like, "Oh, dumbass," or no girl was like. It was straight up like.
Shocking.
And the teacher was like. and I somehow just like burst out like fucking Incredible Hulk. Like,
through all the metal shards.
Yes, I just stood up right away because I was like, I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes and I was like, what the fuck? And I stood up and everything just kind of burst out around me and I kind of did a little hop when I did it and I went,
Yeah.
don't worry everybody, I'm fine.
Backflip on your way out.
Oh my god.
And then I looked at my pants and was like, shit, I ripped my fucking pants. And then everybody's just like, oh my god.
Wow.
And then I sat down and somebody's like, are you okay?
Wow.
I was like, yeah, that was pretty retarded. I hope like hell nobody remembers that. And nobody ever like brought it up to me.
Nice.
I think they were just like, holy shit, that dude didn't die?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're gonna see someone in a few years from San Marcos while you're like out in the
I
world.
saw a dude in that class because he played the guitar. He's kind of like one of those like bro guys that plays acoustic because he thinks it'll help him get laid or some shit. He's like, dude, can you teach me like the Bieber song?
Nice.
See, I edited it so there's no copyright. I don't want to see the song name.
I apologize for playing copywritten music. It's the only music.
So, but I was like, hey, do you remember that time? And he's like, I was like, where I fell and all that? He's like, fell like this and that? And I was like, no, dude, with the desks. And he was like, yeah, kinda. Didn't you like push it, like you knocked some desk over and it fell down? I was like, no, dude, I fell down with like a bunch of desks. I was all tangled up in them. And he's like, yeah, kinda. I don't know, dude. I was probably just fucking with my phone. I was like,
Wow.
woo! Luckily, nobody pays attention to shit anymore.
Nice.
Sorry.
Buried into your screens.
I had to share that one.
Sheeple.
It's good.
That was beautiful, man. I don't have as miraculously a good
It
story.
was adversity. It was a positive story for the kids out there. Hear that, kids? Don't be bullied. Bully.com/org.gov.
Dare not to do drugs. You guys have that program at school? No?
Yeah.
Dare your bullies to do drugs and not fuck with you.
Double dog dare your drugs to bully your dog. Just kidding. That's an onomatopoeia. Well.
Embarrassing.
Oh,
or no,
dude,
not embarrassing.
yeah.
Horrible day. It doesn't have to be terrible though.
I was in a 7th grade Spanish class doing my work, but I was mad congested because I had allergies a lot growing up. So you could felt my nostril fill with a lot of like mucus, you know? And just one day as I was sitting like heading to the books and trying to do some assignment, I felt the dribble coming out my nose. And then I looked up for a second. As I looked up, the mucus went down. I met eye contact with this other homie way across the room. And then I breathed through my nose and a little bubble like came out. Like it wasn't a big bubble, but it was like a nose bubble as big as like a bubblegum bubble. And then this was like grew in his eyes and then popped. And no one saw it because I just like looked right back down, and just that other homie on the end of the room caught that shit and then started giggling. And I was like, fuck. But it was a potentially really embarrassing moment. I later found out this homie died in San Antonio.
Wow.
Fucking, there was some crazy like rain and weather that's been going on. He was out like at midnight at, I don't know, cruising through like the campus site at UT Dallas or Arlington or one of the schools. And just the rain got super hard, and then he fell into a little ravine and like tumbled down and then just ran off with the current of the creek or whatever. And then yeah, he drowned, dude. So that was a really like depressing end to that story. I'm sorry.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Alana Maya. Look him up. He's a really cool dude. Oh, I guess you can bleep that out, right?
If you'd like. So yeah.
No censorship.
So yeah, no censorship. You're right. I can say. Well, I'm trying to think of one, man. Like, I guess. I mean, I guess in college, like, I thought I nailed an exam to like save my grade in history, and like I just like put like a 32 or something like awful. I was like, no, that didn't happen. No, I don't have to retake this class. That's not true at all. Yeah, dude. You know how it be.
Oh man, I got fucked on my graduation. Dude, I got duped like in a bad way. And I'm not gonna say who the teacher was or maybe even the subject. Well, you know what? It's not that she was. It's not like, oh, ooh, poor me. You know, screwed me over. But basically it was like a attendance-oriented class.
Yeah.
It was, and so, somebody like basically T-boned my truck and like totally fucked me up, and I'm living in Austin, da da da.
Yeah.
So I explained that to her. She's like, "Oh yeah, I understand." Da 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 da. So that was a semester before I graduated. And then as I'm in the semester, I'm graduating, I'm making sure everything's cool. They're like, "Yeah, well, you still need to take care of this." And I was like, "Wait, I'm supposed to graduate this semester." And they're like, "No, well, you technically got an F in that class." I was like, "What?" So I talked to her, and she goes, and she didn't remember. She was like, "Yeah, I forgot." She didn't remember that she told me that she would account for that. She's like, "Well, I'll bump it up to a D. How about that?" I was like, No. You told me as long as I did the assignments and I did everything I was supposed to. It's just that my attendance, because basically was for every day you miss, it's 10 points from your grade.
Wow.
And I had already missed a day, like, honestly, not from that.
Right.
But the other days, maybe 2 of them. I think I had 2 absences already, and then those other 2 put me below.
Wow.
And
so
then
3 days of an.
And then she didn't think I needed an A anyway. So then you factor in what she thought my grade was supposed to be. So she was like, eh. So I was supposed. So I got it cleared out. And I talked to her. She said she'd bump it up to a D. I'm like, well, that totally messes up my GPA though. I was like, I thought I was gonna have a C because I did everything. Da da da. So I was like a decimal point away, like 0.01. My GPA where I wasn't cum laude.
Oh.
I was magna cum laude. And it pissed me off because I was like, I mean, it's still with honors, it's still top 10%, but I was like, no, I wanted to be the top. Because like he said, I did it in the timely manner, and I was having a lot of shit going on. I was working, that's when I first started working at the pawn shop, and I was already full-time. I was taking care of kids. I was helping out like family, taking care of 3 kids at one point, like babysitting. It was crazy, and my last semester was insane, and I still made it through, but that, of all things, was the thing that brought me down, not like failing or not being able to show up because of other obligations or whatever, or just tanking or just collapsing because of the pressure. It's because of that incident.
Under pressure.
Yeah, dude.
Nah, man. Well, I had a flip of that. My roughest year in college was the first year, because it's like a make it or break, like sink or swim. A lot of people dropped out in the first year that were all my homies, because they all did a lot of drugs. But yeah. I got kicked out of the West Jester dormitory for smoking weed and had to find a new place to live. But it's cool because I got caught in the first like 2-3 months, so they refunded my deposit, and I just had to find a new place to live. That was half the price. So I finished school pretty cheap, I hope. In the grand scheme of things, what is money?
Currency.
What is currency?
Bartering tool.
So related to what he said, I wanted to throw one of my little dumb quips. I have my little stupid sayings or whatever. But I came up with this one when everybody didn't think I could justify like putting myself through school and putting myself in that kind of debt. Which was, I made a little rhyme up, and it would kind of annoy my parents or whatever. But I was like, well, this is the way I looked at it. Would I rather
get degrees, baby?
No, not that. Which was, do I want to live with a life of debt, or do I want to live with a life of regret? And going to college kind of late as it was, I was like, I'd rather just know. I would rather know that I did it,
right,
and at least saw it through. I mean, it'll pay off one day, and I plan on continuing. But the point being is that, it put me into debt, but it's the experience. Yeah. Like, I can't trade that experience. Like, just being able to, because it was performance. It was all like, there's a lot of classroom stuff involved, but most of it involved participation and doing things and learning things. You know what I mean?
No, I would say critical thinking.
It was fun. It was fun.
Well,
even the hard parts, like writing reports and all that, and papers and all that.
Deadlines for yourself.
And dude,
well, like technically, what do you think is like one of the most, advanced things you learned on the instruments?
Ooh,
yeah, what separates like a potential summa cum laude from just an intro guitar player?
No band experience. I didn't take high school band. I didn't have any experience. I didn't know anything till it's out of high school. I could play guitar, but not that well. When I was like 18.
You do that the other guys can? You know, like what makes you the best?
Around.
Well, nothing. I would
And then
definitely
there
not
we
make
go,
that
then
claim.
there you go.
Well, the best in that class year.
Well, you know what it is?
No.
Is
Tell me.
and this is something I haven't figured out yet for myself. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ADD or if I have some sort of like hindrances in the way my brain works. But I've likened it as an analogy to like a computer that can perform a lot of functions and has a lot of RAM, right? And
Right.
has pretty good storage capacity.
Processing
Da. But sometimes the recall is not always there because all the icons are on the desktop. And that's kind of how my brain is sometimes. So it's like I have the tools. Have I put it all together the way I wanted to? Maybe not. But you know what? A large part of it comes from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what you learn in school. And that's the one thing I'm not doing is doing it. But I was going to say, knowing how to read, I'm honestly, from working, not doing it for so long, for 3 years, I've kind of fallen out. But I can still pick up something, like something I used to know how to play a long time ago. And I don't have the sheet music in front of me. But, you know, just from relearning it again, going, oh, yeah, I used to be able to play that. And then looking at it and having to read it off paper again was, you know, like a challenge again. But, you know, something like...
That's some Vivaldi, right?
Oh, sorry. Ugh.
So jazz is improvisation, right?
What was that song?
Mm-hmm. I was trying to look at this, make sure it's recording, think to tell you Mozart,
Mozart.
and then I was going to say something, but my cloudiness at the moment is invading my thoughts.
Oh, what? Do something jazzy, man. Something improvisation that only that genre can offer.
You know what's funny, though, is that exact piece, is if you just change the time feel.
Go on.
So I was playing it real stiff, right? But what if I was like... Oop. Oop. I gotta put some more chromatic shit in there. I don't know.
I followed you for the first half. But hell yeah.
Well, this is the
No,
part.
I've definitely listened to that song before. Play Flight of the Bumblebees.
Dude, there's so many things. That's the problem. Is like the recall that I was just talking about. The key of the I didn't get back to your question. So what it was with college with me was that if somebody was like, here, do this task or learn this piece or whatever, like they would give you a set list of songs that you had to know every semester, right? And I would learn them, but it's like I'm like task oriented, like it's an assignment. But it's like I'm not really good at like just putting it together, and like even just lately I've been trying to be like, okay, I don't need to spend a lot of money. I'm kind of in a weird position right now. So, but I'm also in a position where I have all this free time, as long as I'm just kind of I can sit at home and kind of lock myself down. So I've been practicing a lot, but I noodle a lot and I do whatever, and I'm like, that's why I needed to relearn this.
What exactly is noodling?
Noodling?
Yeah.
That's the problem, is I could do it forever. Like earlier I was doing like playing in one key. I mean, I could just sit there and do that forever.
And that's something you just made up.
Yeah.
Damn, can I get that in like 60 frames a second?
I don't know. But
That was very psychedelic, bro. Hell yeah.
But doing a lot of that, just like goof. I mean, I could literally just do that forever. I don't know, and
That was
really
impressive.
anywhere. But that's the problem, is it's not like a focused thing. Like I say, like
And how does that translate to your real life? How do you interpret the music of your life? How do you explain a verse of how you represent in the universe? Why you gotta tap the table like that?
But I can make up a melody just because I'm like, I kind of know where I'm at. But that's the problem, is like I said, you need to put it all together. You have to play out live. These are things I've learned from not playing and talking to customers, for example, musicians. They're out there doing it. To put it all together, that's where I went wrong. Was it was always about an assignment. So that's why I'm saying, like, I would noodle a lot, and I'm not doing that right now. I need to be focused, which is why, like, learning a piece like that. Like, I don't have it memorized, but I was reading through a Bach piece last night and just trying to reacquaint myself with reading, because I can read the chords and I can solo, especially if I have chord changes like in a sheet of paper, and I can just see what the changes are. Because then, for example, I don't want to butcher this song for anybody that would actually hear it and go, "Huh, this guy, he sucks, he fucked it up." But this is not something I play regularly or ever, so I would have to take it kind of slow. But there's certain ones where it's like, it's not going to be, 1, 4. Ooh, is this out of tune? No. Ooh, yeah, it's a little wavery. There it is.
I can plug you into some reverb if you need it.
Yes, that'd be awesome, dude.
Just gotta plug.
But just not like where it would pick up on this and sound all crazy.
Nah, it'll come out as a loudspeaker.
Close enough.
Go ahead.
And I'm just going to use this opportunity to remind you guys, Dog Productions is our website. That's D-O-G.
Yeah.
D-O-G Productions. That's Productions.
There it is.
.com.
Go ahead.
So, what I was saying is, like, you have your, like, this, if you haven't learned this yet, good thing to know. G. Well, is that distortion?
A little bit.
Can you put it on just like a real clean with reverb? Just something real basic. Not delay or anything, just a little reverb.
It's in here somewhere. I haven't got them all the presets in.
Or just acoustically, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Or I'll let you just, like, find something
Alright.
as I'm talking about. So you have your 1 G, then your 4 C, and then your 5 D, and then back to 1. Right, pretty basic. If that was the blues. Right, and then just to skip it ahead.
And you're borrowing, right?
Yeah. Oops. Well, you get the idea. In fact, that's actually a good exercise to learn the swing fields to go. Oh, that's delayed. No wonder. I was like, what's going on here?
Tripping. Ow.
Because when I was going do it's like especially through the headphones.
What's happening?
Oh, but anyway, so, but there's other things that you have way more chords in it. I'm talking about like in the span of. Or whatever, right? You could have. Oops. That's a lot of information.
Yeah,
So
that's
one
pretty
of-
dense. Can I just get you a?
I can do it like in halftime. Oops.
Discordant.
That's just one. That's like letter A of the form, and then it like changes right after that.
A B C D E F G. Sharp.
So you have to think of every chord, and they only last for 2 beats because it's literally like. Whoop.
What is this scale?
So that's how the melody goes, but you have to think of those chords.
Do you want the looping pedal too?
I mean that could help, but so then you have to think of every chord that's flying at you, and still have to be like, what can I do with this, where I'm not just playing scales up and down to you. Whoop, dude, your action's high, man. I need to lower this for you.
Dude, please.
If I probably could. I mean, afterward,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
done. But
That's some crazy delay, yeah. That was chill, bro.
That was nice.
Like, I can imagine that being on the playa, you know, sipping on some Corona. And,
Well, looks like
Maybe
we've
like
actually
some kind
filled
of
quite a
elevator music.
good amount of air. If you want, I mean, I normally play us out with my music, but do you want to play us out today?
ooh, that's quite a task. Let's see.
Well, real quick. I mean, you guys want to do a little outro of who you were and where the people can
Play me
can
out.
reach you?
Alright, check this, y'all. This has been Mario Ramirez. Catch me on SoundCloud at ZeroRami. Instagram is DJ Duckies on Quack. Snapchat is the Hi I'm Mario, spelled HIGHIM Mario. And I am on all these social media platforms intermittently. But you can reach me over on the corner of the Riverside area. I know all of my frequencies. 78741 is the area code. You already know the zone. And I'm out of my zone. So for that, peace. Appreciate all y'all. Peace in the Middle East.
It's been a pleasure. I'm glad to hang with these dudes and just kind of ramble like the lunatic I am. It's been nice to just be unleashed.
All right. Well, Jason, if you want to play me out, we appreciate you guys for coming in and listening to episode 8 of the Weird Awesome podcast. I guess we're coming up on 10, so we'll get there soon. Thanks for sticking around, and again, that's dogproductions.com. There's also a YouTube channel and all kind of information on there. All right, well, we will see y'all next time. This has been Justin, and keep it weird, guys. Keep it weird.